What's that? Clinging to the walls and cursed by God? Why, it's Wandering Monster. Roll initiative!
Hello and welcome once again to Wandering Monster, America's tabletop showcase, where we strive to show you the games that you're curious about, how they play mechanically and narratively. I am John Baltusberger.
I'm Bridget Brave.
I'm Kevin Welch.
I'm Mr. Paschke, and with us tonight,
Caleb Wimble. Hi, hello.
Hello, Caleb. Now, Caleb, you may or may not know this about me, but I am of the Jewish persuasion. Right now, we are celebrating the Festival of Lights. Well, no, we were celebrating the Festival of Lights. It's over now. Hanukkah's done. But it puts me in a spirit. What a lot of people may or as anyone who's ever read any of my books knows, I'm something of a autodidact theologian. I like theology, philosophy, and history, and mysticism, and occultism. And since Charles Bernard is not with us tonight, it means he can't correct me on anything I'm about to say. Just bully for me. One story I have always enjoyed is the story of the Tower of Babel. You'll know if you watched our episode or picked up Morkabeans, my Mork Borg hack, you'll know because it's set in the Tower of Babel. But what's interesting about the story, and if you're not familiar, it's the one where everyone comes together to build a tower up to heaven. And as they're working, they're growing, and then God says, well, I don't like this. It makes everyone speak different languages and they can't understand each other. And this is the origin myth of why everyone has a different language, right? It's also one of the first stories you hear as a kid and you think, is God an asshole? Because it's kind of a dick move. And you know, the explanation in this is that these people were not coming together just to build a tower together. They weren't doing it to honor God. They were doing it out of hubris, so they could be equal to God. I don't know about all that. It's worth remembering that that legends and mythology is written by men. So you have to kind of take it all with a grain of salt. But what's interesting about the Tower of Babel, right, is that it suggests that all these people came together with a goal in mind to not just build a tower, because the tower is symbolic, right? What they're doing is they're coming together to build something greater than themselves, to ascend to heaven as a community. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. It's something that we as individuals and as humans kind of strive to do. We come together, we grow, and we build something greater than ourselves before, in the famous words of Monster Magnet, God says no. But why can't that be us today, right? Why can't we come together and create something more magnificent than ourselves? We're a diverse community of people from across this country at the moment. We have worked with international game creators before, but right now in this country, we're a diverse community, and I think we should get together and, guys, let's build a tower, right? Like, let's do it.
yeah,
On that note, I'm sorry to get so sidetracked. Caleb, you're our guest GM. What the hell are we playing tonight?
We are playing Let Us Build a Tower, and imagine, like, such a coincidence that you would be, bringing up those things, bringing up the religious origins of the story, the differing interpretations of what the story means and why humanity was cursed as a consequence of, cursed with the chaos of tongues and to no longer be able to be unified and build this or complete this tower together. And one thing that really interests me about that story, and part of why we're going to be playing in this mythic Bronze Age setting, as opposed to like any, fixed place in world history, is because of the way that those stories have changed and been reinterpreted. And it sounds like you might be familiar, John, with that. There's a lot of scholarly belief that even the Tower of Babel story comes from the earlier Sumerian legend of Enmerkar and the Lord of Arada and the building of a great temple, ziggurat tower to Inanna. Later, the goddess of love and of war, later becomes Ishtar in Babylon. And the thrust of the story changes so much from that account, which also has a confusion of tongues and everything. By the time we get through different traditions and then different interpretations of the Torah story over the years, what it means, why it all happens. Probably questions that we're not going to answer today. Instead, we're going to be dungeon crawling up into the chaos of this otherworldly place. We're going to be in the apocalyptic remains of this city. The curse has already happened. Humanity has been cast down by a jealous god, the one now calling himself Skyfather, like the god of gods. And the city is mostly abandoned, where the tower is full of strange and wondrous things. And there are those called Throneseekers who still believe they can reach heaven at the top of the tower, that that Nimrod's dream lives on, that there is still and in their case, unfortunately, a whole lot less of that spirit of human unity and coming together to do something incredible, so much as hell has happened, let's get what we can out of this place. That's sort of your average throne seeker in this setting. But
now
hopefully
let me interrupt, Caleb. I have to say this right at the top because I know there's going to be some people that are unaware of this. Nimrod is, I know. Bugs Bunny has taught us that Nimrod is a moron. However, Nimrod, the king, was not a moron, but kind of this fabulous, intelligent, very cunning, and incredible hunter. Which is why Bugs Bunny calls Elmer Fudd Nimrod. He is making fun of him and basically saying you're not a legendary hunter. You are. I'm calling you Nimrod to make fun of you. Anyway, sorry, I had to interrupt because that is such a good story.
No, that's a good note, and yeah, probably a lot of people's cultural touchstone if they didn't also grow up hearing biblical stories. So yeah, what do y'all think? Do we, your show? Do we dive right in, introduce your characters?
Yeah,
or
let's. So normally, Mr. Charles Bernard will take the first stab at talking about his character. I see no reason to break with that tradition. So if someone could call Charles on the phone, he very specifically asked for the night off. But if we can just interrupt his piece and yell at him, that'd be great. Otherwise, Mr. Patchkey, I'm sorry, you're the Charles.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, I will be playing now. I'm not going to pronounce this correctly because I don't know old languages. I can barely speak English. Tilhar, Pilhar. Essentially, I figured that we don't ever have a healer, right? There's a healer in the pre-gens. Fantastic. I'm gonna do my best to make sure that none of you die.
I already see an issue, and that issue is that I don't trust you.
Well, is it because my character is a woman?
Ooh.
I'm not gonna do a feminine voice. Just to let you guys know, but my character, the little picture, is a woman. That was a joke. I don't know if it came out that way or not. I feel some tension there that I did not mean to be that serious.
But you put me in a position where if I tried to make a joke, I would be the misogynist. So I had to silence is the only way.
Okay.
Well, if we're throwing in like the fun mythic and historical context, fun historical fact about the priests and the priestesses of Inanna and her temple was that famously many of them in ancient Sumer and in other parts of the early Mesopotamian Empire were gender nonconforming in various ways, and that was like a core part of Inanna's worship. It was sort of the place where even we're talking thousands and thousands of years ago, a lot of people who did not feel like they fit in elsewhere in society would wind up in the temple service of Inanna. So there's a lot of room to play with whatever you want to do with gender there, or if you just want to go as written, Tilhar, priestess of Inanna. It'd be fun having you here.
Okay, we'll feel it out.
Kevin.
Yes. I am playing Sartu of the Seven Steeps. I am a warrior. I got a spear and a shield, and I feel like I'm just going to be up there in the front, taking damage and praying that our priestess will keep me alive long enough to take more damage.
Of course.
We'll find out.
I have
Only
faith
you.
in her.
Yeah. You're good. Don't know.
I got you, boo.
All right, Bridget.
So I'm Kubaba. I'm don't worry about it. Basically, I'm here. I've got a job to do. I got it handled. We don't have to talk about it.
Kababa's a very good name. All right. Well, I am Erminon. I am I'm a scholar, y'all. I'm a scribe and a scholar. I know languages. Like I'm so smart, guys. I'm there's a point on the character sheet that says gear, held, or worn. And as I was kind of just scanning the sheet with my eyes real quick, I thought it said geld. And I was like, oh man. Man, haven't I already been cut up enough around there? We'll have to get back in. But no, gear and held. I have a knife. Oh, and a sack. So that's me. I guess I should say I am a caster. I got spells.
Just got a knife, a sack, and a dream.
Yeah, and importantly, as somebody who's learned it as a scribe, you're one of the only ones who can read that superpower known as literacy to be able to interpret cuneiform script, which could come very much in handy with the tablets, the Babel stones that we may be finding. That I think you have a few in your possession here.
I do. I assume the Babel stones are what let me cast magic.
They are, yeah. They are these artifacts of Babel, these mystic tablets upon which the sacred words were placed into the walls of this place that built it, and now crumbled and torn to pieces. Each Babel stone contains a bit of that power, a bit of Babel's power, and allows communication across languages of different concepts, ideas, words that are written upon the Babel stones. But yeah, they also are used to perform magic, to create wondrous signs and spells through combining the words together in whatever ways you manage to come up with.
Nice. I like it. I always enjoyed that sort of thing.
Same.
All right, well, should we get right into our little adventure then? See where we go with these Throneseekers who've come together for the purpose of trying the ascent, heading up the tower?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
I'm ready.
Yes.
All right. You walk amidst the dusty, sun-drenched ruins of what once was the greatest city on the face of Earth. These once impressive buildings, they're sprawling in every direction, most empty, many of them reduced to rubble all around you in the wake of heaven's war on Earth. A few would-be warlords still vie for control of these streets by night. Whatever scraps of food or valuables the dead palaces might still hide. Most survivors have long abandoned the city for the wilderness of Shinar and other lands, like forming little groups and ultimately tribes of shared tongue amidst the chaos of Babel's curse. There are still stragglers who camp beyond the walls of the city in these crowded and filthy caravanserai, fearing what lies within the city more than whatever protection its fallen gates once offered. A lot of these are people who may still have loved ones trapped within the tower, who don't have the supplies to make the journey across the wilderness, or for whatever reasons of their own have stuck around. And above all of this looms the tower, Once the hope of a united humankind, now a doomed reminder of its curse. The tower's vast stones rise impossible heights, piercing the very heavens, and its many stairs rise before you now. You are all survivors of the curse, called Throneseekers. We mentioned those who are bold or greed-blinded enough to enter the tower in search of its rumored wonders and treasures. But the greatest prize of all is said to wait at the very top, a stairway to the realm of the now fallen gods and the now vacant throne of heaven. So as for all of you coming here today, the alchemist Zishume has hired you to brave the tower. A brief delve, he claims, and no more, yet he promises you a wealth of treasure should you fulfill his contract. I seek reagents to create a most powerful, potent elixir, the silk-shrouded alchemist told you. I require the feather of a seraph, the scale of a great serpent, and, most importantly of all, the blood of a beast of Eden, it is said. And I happen to know with great certainty that they were gathered by Nimrods, scribes and keepers in great menageries, places of entertainment in his gardens. Bring these ingredients to me, and I will shower you not only in gold, but reward you each with a taste of the elixir's power. And the alchemist outfitted each of you with advance payment in a small clay pot, a potion that he claims can restore vitality to the wounded. That's pretty much all you've got to go on. You could enter the tower now if you wish, or you could gather additional strength and information first. Shaduri's Well is the last tavern in the city. It would have been a shithole at one time, is now the only watering hole in town, so it's an excellent place to hire other Throneseeker mercenaries if you're trying to bolster your forces, to rest for the night, or to collect rumors about the tower. At Yoktan's Forge, you could craft or purchase additional bronze weapons and armor, or you could barter for goods and services in the Exodus caravanserai, camped in huddled masses outside the walls. What do you do?
I think we should try to get rumors.
You just want to go to the tavern.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. It sounds like
I mean,
I'm in. No, I'm not arguing with that, but yeah.
So rumors at the tavern, go schmooze it up with the people there, see who we can or can't talk to, because it sounds like that might be in question.
Yeah, so as you make your way across like the sun-baked, dusty streets, mostly quiet by day, most of the dangers of these streets are a nighttime fixture. You walk in through the open entry, and even at a distance, you can hear the murmuring, the rising and falling of voices in numerous tongues talking over one another above heated arguments, discussions, and you enter and you see the scene around these like low-lying tables, dusty floors, and the clay jars lined upon the walls near the back containing supposedly still pretty drinkable warm beer. You just hear the voices flying. There are small groups who gathered where it seems like there'll be like an interpreter for a few, or others are just gesturing wildly, attempting to communicate in sort of like a pigeon of signs that they've started concocting. But a lot of it seems to be coming to head in arguments very quickly. And on the other side of the tavern, you can see the wary eye of Maraz, a former temple maiden of Inanna, shaking her head, cleaning some of the cups and bowls kept over there, and keeping a very wary eye on the scene in Shaduri's Well. What do you do?
So she's a former temple maiden.
Yeah. She would have been one of the ones you've heard, and it seems. Yeah. Seems a bit incongruous with what she is also reputed to have, which was a very strong spear arm, and you can see the weapon leaning against the wall nearby where she cleans, never more than at like a few hands widths away from being able to grab.
Okay, so I would approach her and just the standard formal temple greeting of "Hey, girl, hey."
Of course.
Hey.
She looks up and starts from Kalam. Yes. Hey girl. Hey, as you say. Yes. We share something in common, I gather.
Yeah. So what's the word around here? And I just casually like put a gold coin on the bar, slide it over.
The word around here, and she slides it back over towards herself, is that this will buy you a warm bed for the night. If you want your own private chambers, it's going to cost more than that. As long as you keep the peace in here, there'll be plenty. No more scratches on any of my tables. And if I see weapons drawn, well,
Cool. I look over at so these are my friends. And I point at the rest of the group.
Hello.
friends. Friends in a place like this. You don't hear that word thrown around much anymore.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure there are other languages now, right? I mean, compadres? Yes? Have you heard that one?
No, and I've picked up quite a few of them at this point. One of the reasons I'm able to keep this place running, but that one doesn't ring any bells.
He's and she, we're more acquaintances. We're not really. I wouldn't call us friends.
Oh.
Mm.
Oh.
Trust is hard to come by.
I pull out a small locket and I just draw a little line through it. I close it. I put it back in my shirt.
I'll look over at Tilhar and give her a wink, and no, we're still good. We're still solid.
Okay.
I have been. What would I be writing on? Bronze Age.
Oh,
Virus?
soft clay tablets, typically. Yeah, you've got like your stylus and your little wedge lines on it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not going to be doing that haphazardly in the middle of a bar, though. Actually, I believe what our mutual compadre is attempting to ask is if you know anything that would make our entry and possible ascent up, less deadly for us. I think that's what she was trying to get at.
Throneseekers. Well, I can tell you then that this is in all likelihood our last conversation, but I do wish you all the best in your endeavor. I mean, most of what we're able to keep this place running with comes out of the tower's goods. If you do happen to return, your gold will be more than good here. What is it you're trying to know?
Well, we have heard rumors that that a certain jackass, let's say, brought in several animals, say from Pardis, and we are hoping to get a gander at some of them.
Some of the beasts that were brought by the king, the cursed one. She spits onto the side of the tavern floor.
Yep.
Well,
that would be yeah.
If I had firsthand knowledge of anything that goes on inside the tower, I wouldn't be running as successful an establishment as this continues to be. However, from experience, I can say if you were to buy around for the house, you're more than likely to pick up a few bits of idle chatter, rumors, gossip. I don't know how much stock I put in any of it, and they're all getting pretty drunk for first watch of the morning in here, but you never know. There's truth amidst all the fiction.
Let's see. Do any of you have money?
I have 12 gold left.
I don't think I have. Oh yeah, I am a man of learning, of knowledge. I do not put stock in material wealth. Also, I have a crippling addiction to body glitter. Mica powder that I'm very shiny. So I don't have any money because I've spent it on that.
I mean, we've all been there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And It's a fine investment, one that sticks around for quite a while.
Forever.
Gets everywhere.
So if someone were to buy a round for the bar, maybe that would be good. Friends, compadres, acquaintance.
How much are we talking?
1 gold will buy you a round for everyone here of delicious, warm, frothy beer.
All right, I'll buy first round.
All right. How about, so and are you all gathering about trying to find people you can communicate with or otherwise just doing your best? Let's see if we've got between the 4 of us here. Looks like you, some of you have picked up quite a few of the new tongues since the fall of the Tower of the Curse. So I think you speak a total of 8 languages between you all, if I'm not mistaken. Eight distinct languages. We've got some witty folks here and learned ones. Gonna run with that for the time being. And okay, yeah, and you're able to find a few people who while you don't find many who speak any of the tongues that you share directly, maybe that's the thing that's brought you together as a group. You find 2 who are able to translate at various points and in groups talking with others. Are you looking for more of the scarred and like there's a few of the people in here who look strange in various ways, tower touched, perhaps. Some have begun to say they have strange colorations to their eyes, a few of them, where instead of whites, they have silvery shining tones, and some gleaming skin like precious metal, or almost like the texture of marble. And if you want to focus on those would be probably your best bet for people who have possibly been to the tower or been close by. And everybody want to roll me a D20 for what you're able to pick up here. Okay. And then we'll just go around and see what you've each learned after an hour of shooting the shit.
I rolled a D.
An 8. This one, you find a pretty morose sort who just staring into cups repeatedly. There's no use praying. Skyfather scorns us. All the other gods are gone now, slain in heaven's war. And I'm telling you, even the sacrifices anymore, nothing. No blessings, no atonements, no priests even left in the city to perform the rites. Now, there's no point. None of it. Heaven has abandoned us all.
He's a cheery sort.
Yeah. I got a 7, so I'm sure the guy I talked to is going to be much, much nicer and way more informative.
Seems to be a scribe himself, as a matter of fact, and you start to pick up as he becomes animated when you begin talking about entering the tower and is fixated on what he's seen of the architecture. And I happen to have good knowledge from others of my former trade that much of the tower is connected by a system of aqueducts from these waterworks which deliver the waters of heaven from the firmament above, distributed down throughout the tower. Why, it's possible you could quickly get all sorts of places, provided you don't mind getting a little wet, but it is a wonder to behold, I am sure, and I would be most grateful. Any description you could bring me of its workings, of the passages of it, I should dream of again creating such things one day.
Yeah, I got you. Probably not going to happen.
Next up,
I got a 12.
This figure, who has most like half their head covered in a hood and a number of bandages over part of the rest. She speaks in sort of this half rasping tone. They say, wandering the tower too long transforms you, changes you into something else altogether. You might even become something not quite human. And it seems, and she like turns over suddenly and pulls down the cloth over her face. And you are greeted by a mass of eyes beneath her left eye, all turning about in their sockets, staring around different places in the room. And when she sees the shock on nearby faces, she just starts cackling. Although a few nearby roll their eyes, giving you the impression this might be a somewhat tired bit at this point that she's been pulling on newcomers to the taverns. Oh, if you're looking for animals, I have heard, and I've seen them in the distance, that some of the wild dogs which prowl the tower. Oh, intelligent beast, crafty, careful, clever beast, once human, I believe, and I tell you it is true that they may be human again. I don't know. Do you?
Unfortunately, Erminon looks up from the clay tablet. He sees the eyes, pulls out clay tablet, like complete boredom coating his face at it. Well, thank you. Animals that were once men are not our target, though. I appreciate it and enjoy your drink. And turn, as soon as his back start. God, mother.
All right, I had a 16.
God damn, Bridget bringing the heat.
Yeah.
Get it, girl.
Get it.
This one, nobody is able to understand the language of, and speaks in one of the tongues. At first, you're trying to figure out what they're talking about. When you start talking to them and you mention the tower, and their eyes light up, and pointing over to your companion, to Tilhar, the priestess of Inanna, and saying, and after a series of gestures and figuring out what they're trying to say, realizing they're gesturing to the sacred incense that Tilhar carries, and maybe can slightly smell the aroma. I don't know if it's immediately obvious to those nearby. And the figure makes the sign of warding off the evil eye. And when Miraz gets a hold of this scene and the bit of conversation, coming over, pouring from a pitcher some more of the beer, talking something about, as best as I can tell, beware the lurkers in the tower's dark places. I don't know, unclean spirits of some kind. And they say something about burning the temple incense may keep them at bay. Who knows?
All right.
Good to know.
Unfortunately, nobody seems to have any particular information about these beasts of Eden.
Well, ain't that motherfucker.
Well said.
I think there's not much to do but sleep here tonight and head out in the morning to the tower.
All right. So you're each gonna pay for one of the cots on the main floor, or if you want to splurge and get yourself a private room and maybe a temporary HP boost, you could do that for 2 gold instead of 1. That is up to you.
I'm very poor. I will stay in the common room.
I mean, I'm gonna go for the private room.
Same YOLO.
Yeah.
Spending. All right. So you put down your gold upon the tab, and as the day passes and you continue to gather information from those gathered here, eventually waiting for night's fall, and most of the conversation with the setting of the sun grows dim. Nobody seems much interested in talking past the setting of the sun. The oil lamps don't burn for long. Only the fire kept in Miraz's near the back of the kitchen. And though the night usually brings with it a deep chill, partway through the night, you all feel this temporary burst, this hot, foul-smelling wind that blasts through the city streets, putting out the few lamps that had remained lit. And you could swear that on the gust of it and through like the old empty buildings, that it carries echoes of something like chattering voices or laughter that are from no one here, and people roll over uneasy in on their mats, and that pretty much puts a stop to any of the lingering conversation. But you awake the next day refreshed. Those of you who got your private chambers, what do you do from here? Are you ready to head into the tower, or did you have other business in the city?
I'm ready to head to the tower.
Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah,
tower's why I came here. Let's go tower.
Yeah, tower it up.
tower ain't gonna siege itself.
Yeah.
It might.
Oh,
I mean, we could brunch first, though.
oh, yeah.
Mhm.
No.
I'm not paying for
No.
brunch, so
All right, go keeping keen on an empty stomach with the supplies you got with you.
Yeah, I've got 3 days worth of rations, so I mean, we don't have to brunch, but I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you do your not quite brunch or whatever your preparations are, making your way across the again quiet streets to the center, the unavoidable scene that dominates the city, the massive stones above even the base of this thing. This structure is gargantuan. You almost get the sense of it being built for beings larger than ordinary humans, like something like the legendary Nephilim, the giants who are said to be the offspring of humans and of angels. But the very base of the tower is this huge ziggurat, which Tilhar you know and recognize as having once been a temple dedicated to Inanna, your goddess, the goddess of love and of war. And this was the foundation stone, the ziggurat with this huge staircase leading up to it that now serves as kind of the grand archway into the first floor of the tower, and through the archway of which you know Babel's curse falls upon all who enter afresh.
okay. Is it clear to go in, or do I have to go up to it and like say some words like "Yes, Queen" and get it to open?
It's a big open arch at the top of a very high set of stairs that you can go up. It'll just take you, like 5-10 minutes to climb the stairs, going up through the arch, and it's these towering, like now chipped and faded in many places, but like these once beautiful blue tiles that have been largely stripped away, and scenes of lion-like figures rearing and roaring on either side of the arch. And as you all climb the stairs and pass through, what looks like a pile of rags just by the archway, right as you're about to pass under the arch into the open first level of the tower, a grasping hand darts out and like goes for the nearest ankle, for Sartu's ankle there, grasping out of it with this really, really strong grip, despite how long and thin and kind of desiccated the arm looks. And you hear a rattling, wheezing cough from under the rags.
I'm gonna take the butt of my spear and I'm gonna kind of just jab him in the hand. Look him.
No, please. I mean, no harm, please. No, take mercy. Take mercy. Take mercy on an old woman. Please, I beg you.
Sorry.
wow.
That was kind of mean, man.
I didn't know she was a lady. She just grabbed me when I was walking by.
What is it with a child?
I just can't believe we're dealing with this on an empty stomach. I wish we'd talked for brunch.
I was
like
all about
wanted.
bagels and lox earlier, but nobody wanted to stay for brunch. But I mean, that's okay too.
With a mouthful of rations, I'm
Anyways, okay, we'll stop at the cafe inside or something. I don't know. Ma'am, why are you grabbing at me? We're trying to gain riches and fame and fortune and, the like.
And she when she continues her babbling, you don't recognize the words the Sartu, so it looks like it's translation from one of the tongues that Ur-Manan has acquired, but you're able to go back and forth, getting the story put together as she's, please, my granddaughter Omara, she hung on. I always told her they were no good, those friends of ours, foolhardy friends, Throneseekers, they called themselves. Insisted that they should enter the tower seeking a weapon of war and destruction, a mace to carry heaven's thunder. Sharur, the smasher of thousands. I told her this was nonsense. She will die as so many have died, or she will be changed.
Sorry, did she Shamir?
Sharur.
All right, not
Yeah, and she just goes on and on about this, begging you, you other throne seekers, she believes you are, to find her granddaughter, to stop her from this foolish quest to find this so-called legendary mace, the smasher of thousands, and to bring her back safely, to convince her where her grandmother couldn't to return.
Sure.
We are.
Come across.
Look, we have our own intention and our own goals within the tower that we must deal with. But if we see your granddaughter, then sure, we will try to get her out and keep her safe and bring her to you.
Oh.
This is not a promise, but we will attempt to reunite the people with their families, their friends, despite the curse laid at our feet.
Thank you.
Do not touch me. You're welcome.
Pools, Shamash, blessing upon you. Sun's light shine on your endeavors. All right, so you're passing through, leaving the old woman behind. And as you take those few extra steps beneath the threshold into this grand opening and the sprawling antechamber laid out before you, you feel something. Initially, this warmth, this tingling over you, and then it is like a wave of something unseen that washes down from the tower heights, crashes into you, and you don't see anything, but you stagger under the weight of it, and it seems to slam into your very soul, that like almost laying all of you bare as this power, whatever it is, washes over you. And each of you, do you attempt to resist this change that you feel beginning in you? You feel the tower attempting to mold you with heaven's power, with the curse of chaos, or do you want to let it happen and just see what comes of this?
I'm into it.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Same.
All right. I'm going to try to fight it.
Okay. So go, if you were trying to resist what is happening to you, push at this screaming wave of the mythic shores that you have heard, like crashing upon the sands of your mind, go ahead and roll me a d20 and add your will to it if you have a will bonus.
I do not.
And you want to
15.
You roll a 15? All right, you are able to resist. You stem the tide. Your mind is spinning all over the place for an instant, but you steady your thoughts, step through the threshold, and remain unchanged. Those of you who did not resist, go ahead and roll me just a flat d20.
You guys need a trip sitter. That's my job now.
That was a 5.
You, as you're staggering and grabbing for touch, you maybe grabbing one of your companion's arms as you nearly
Don't touch
stagger.
me. I grab my arm back.
You get these flashes of something. You have all flowing through your mind, like you're recalling dreams. You're recalling your own dreams from recent sleep, suddenly real and present for a moment, and those memories. It's like you're back in them, and you have like this need, this urge to touch the dreams of others, to find those who sleep, to experience their dreams.
Okay. I can keep that to myself, though.
I rolled a 10.
You are suddenly your sense of smell is just heightened for a flash. Suddenly, everybody nearby you, the smell of the old sickly woman not 10 paces behind you, all of that is so much more present and pungent. The sweat of the mid morning heat from you and your companions, and suddenly do you have beer or wine within your supplies by chance?
I don't believe so. Oh, I do have wine. I have a wine skin. It doesn't say it has any wine in it, but we can assume I have wine.
Yeah, presumably. If you filled up at the tavern, if you wanted something to drink for the day. Now smells incredibly off to you. There's something like you get this sense of something wrong, like poisonous, something that is bad for your body and mind. You can even though it's not like wasn't a strong smelling wine or anything, like the moment that you're undoing the top of that jar, it's like your senses are just screaming at you poison.
Well, probably not going to drink this then.
And what's strange is nobody else seems to be able to smell it.
I rolled a 7.
Nothing happens immediately, but I'm going to make a note of that. You feel that crash over you, and all of the languages that you previously knew, this goes for everyone who passed under, are now confused, and I will have new ones rolled up. So the people you were able to speak to before won't necessarily be able to with the same ease. Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Does that include us, or
because you all entered at the same time, you all share? We're just sort of doing the easy mode in that, unless you want to spend the whole night doing charades with each other to communicate.
We are always extremely annoying when we do that, so let's not.
Yeah. Yeah, so because you entered the arch and came under the curse in this group, you do share a common tongue. So the monumental archways above you give way to this grand portico. There are statues, huge statues all across this massive antechamber that rise as pillars, the statues themselves holding up the great grand ceiling of this place in diorite columns, and the creatures on the statues are like these amalgams of you recognize features of animals, of like lions and eagles and bulls and rams, but also great wings folded over them or kept behind them, and eyes, many eyes upon their wings and upon the stylized faces of the creatures themselves. In this huge chamber, you can see at the far north end, there appears to be a massive stone doorway. And it seems there are additional doors to the east and the west. So every direction that you can see in this huge chamber before you. What do you do?
I'm going to look over to Ormanon and be like, what do you think? Which way do you want to go?
Well, I move over to the relief of the animals with the eyes, and kind of take a few minutes to study them. Do they seem purely decorative, or do they look like maybe I can pull some information from them?
So as you get close to each of them and you're examining, you find that each of them do have or had plaques at the bottom of them. There was these like bands of cuneiform script worked into the stone, most of which has been defaced, has been smashed to pieces at the base. So there's like fragments of like the little cracked stone scattered about the floor around each of these grand columns. However, as you're searching among them, you find half of a fragmentary plaque still intact. And let me look at your languages real quick. Okay, so we've got you're the only literate one in the party, Ermanon. So you'd be the only one able to describe anyway. And you currently know, if I'm not mistaken, 4 languages.
Let me. You said I have 4 new languages though.
Replacing the old ones. Yeah.
4 languages.
So for this purpose, let's go ahead. Just go ahead and you feel like you only have a small chance of actually recognizing this plaque
Now,
for the moment.
Before I roll, I'd like to point out I also have Ziskel the Apprentice hanging out with me. I have an NPC follower who may also know. I assume since he is an apprentice scribe, he may also be able to read and may know a language or two.
Is he an attentive apprentice? How would you rate him on doing your employee satisfaction?
Okay, are you asking me as a player, or are you asking for Ermanon's?
Up to you as a player, or as a character. However you want to deliver your assessment.
I think Ziskel is desperate to please. He really wants to prove he has what it takes to be a scribe. But I am an agoraphobic, a neurotic mess. And so I have trouble believing anyone can do anything because I'm the one that does it. And so he's probably lagging behind in his studies because I am teaching him too slowly.
Okay, so normally he would be able to know 2, but should we say one that he's confident in this case because of how much it's been worn down? And yes, we had a small chance here between the two of you. Just roll me let's do a D20 again, and if you get a 1 to 5 for your 5 shared languages here.
I got a 17.
No, it's a mystery to you for now, but there's something strange about the plaque and about you have the feeling that it is a name of some kind, even though you're not able to you're trying to work out the sounds of it because whatever tongue it's in, the cuneiform allows you to form some of those sounds, and something in the back of your mind tells you it's a name and it's important. So you might want to, you have the sense of wanting to hang on to that fragment.
So I don't have this in my inventory, but I'm going to ask for permission to have it. Could I have a way to take a rubbing? I think that's a reasonable thing for a scribe to carry.
What would you use for that? Do you think in this time period? Would you can you do a rubbing with a skin with like an animal?
I would think primitive beans. Oh my god, dog! No, ma'am. No, I'm going to do a rubbing with this pug.
Oh,
would you like us to leave the room while you do your rubbing?
No, I need an audience. Okay. I would say, some vellum primitive vellum and charcoal.
Okay, yeah.
Would probably be what I would be using.
Maybe this is your specialty. You've started realizing the applications of some wasted leather from a set of clothing. And well, if I blacken it a little bit, put some of this coal, so you can take the markings of it. And as you're doing the search and you're going between all the pillars, I don't know what the rest of you are up to, but you do notice, Erminon, that there are carvings above each of the grand doorways of this place as well that seem to be like depictions and scenes of some kind.
Okay. I'm going to take a small look around. I'm going to walk and observe each, and I will tell my idiot compatriots what each one kind of signifies. You see how this has several soldiers standing in a line wielding spears. This was the priesthood's guard. This is where they were, probably be bunked. Obviously, what I'm looking for is, let's see, we need a feather from a seraph, which, depending on which mythology we're going with, it could be a winged serpent.
I love those.
Yeah. I believe we needed scales from a serpent as well.
So it could be a 2-for-1 is what you're saying.
I'm saying it could be a 2-for-1, or it could be a seraph as a type of humanoid angel, depending on which, again, depending on where we're going from. And third, we need the blood of a beast of Eden. So what I'm looking for is depictions of either seraphim or of beasts above the door. I would assume that if Nimrod had brought them and set them up, it would be kind of a zoo-esque setup. Although obviously they could be loose and just roaming the tower overall. However, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'm looking for some kind of sign that there are beasties through the door.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are we currently sans seraph then?
I'll fight you, Bridget. I'll fight you.
I wanted to make that joke, but I couldn't figure out how to work it in. Good job, Bridget.
Nailed it.
Anytime.
We're enemies now.
So I'm curious what the other three of you are doing as Erminon sets about examining the engravings, and you all hear a piercing, loud, like aquiline screech, like a great bird call that reverberates from the sky. And like there's these great high, like arch-like windows, like many feet up the walls of this chamber around the edges of the tower, allowing sunlight to stream in on this hot morning. And that like a cry of a bird just echoes all through here and carries about the stones and the columns around you for the moment. But what are you doing meanwhile while Erminon does his investigations?
Well, on my character sheet, it says I have a shield bearer as well. So I kind of picture, the shield bearer, Ibenar, is a little bit like complete opposite of Erminon's little follower. He's kind of like the boss's son, kind of just being forced to go along, holding the shield, just kind of unattentive, just staring off into nothing. I'm trying to keep his attention, being, trying to mentor him into becoming a great warrior and showing him all these different pictures and words that I don't understand, but it looks really cool, and just kind of get on the lay of the room. And he's just kind of staring off, and so I got to kind of keep him in line, keep him in check. So
And
keep him occupied.
My follower Gapar is nowhere near me right now. He's doing a perimeter sweep, I like to call it, just kind of checking any loose items around the room, any interesting looking cracks in the wall, anything that looks like it might be hiding something in there.
Okay, so as he does that and starts going around the far corners of the chamber, you see, it starts a little bit when going behind one of the columns, like towards the northwest side of the chambers. Kubaba, pointing over at something there. And it appears to be two bodies lying on the ground behind one of the great pillars, and they're laid in like this mess of filthy hay that's just scattered about all over, and like branches and detritus, and it's just like all over the ground here, and bits and pieces of plants, like long dried, and tiny little bones. But the two bodies, which look human, are not moving from the look of it.
It looks like there's a couple corpses we could shake out over there. See what falls out.
I'll kind of give
loot the bodies.
Yes. I'm gonna send Ibanar over there to go check those out. I'll be a couple feet behind him, just making sure he's doing it right and keeping his.
And does he have kind of a gross style? Oh, come on! Do I have to?
Oh, yeah. He is so not into any of this. He'd rather be staring at the sun or something. I don't know. He just wants nothing to do with any of this stuff. So he's kind of just half-ass dragging the shield as he goes up to the bodies and kind of just gives him a little nudge with his foot, and then looks back and goes,
Sartu, and immediately, you know what? Go ahead and give me test. Let's test Ibanar's force, of which he has no skill whatsoever. So you just got to roll a d20, try to get 13 or better for him. He is suddenly very pale and a little bit green looking as he like jerks back from examining the bodies.
Okay, well, I rolled a 9, so he's probably not doing very well at all.
Yeah, he doubles over and retches all over the floor. Just whatever not brunch contents or last night's dinner remained in there. And keeps going and like glances back at the corpses, and it looks like although the two bodies are dried out and desiccated and have this like kind of weathered like long dead look to them, their cores, their cavities are cavities. They are torn open. There is just it's like their chests are split apart, long dried rib bones just exposed, and anything that else was in there gone, gaping holes, and there's like bits of parchment like leathery flesh on the rest of their bodies, and torn clothing, and they seem to be very strangely dressed. The one of them has this like really, really heavy, multi-layered fur clothing of a sort, including like around the almost skull-like dried face, like this huge, like puffy, some unknown white furred animal around the lining of his clothes, and this very strange looking sack strewn beside, also torn open, and bits and pieces of things on the floor beside here. And the other one is the other unfortunate soul is in a similar condition, but looks totally different, is wearing this gleaming, almost like silvery armor, like strangely smooth and covering huge parts of their body. And there's, and it's dented and torn asunder, like at their center, where it also looks like something just gouged out the middle of them. But there's bits and pieces of it around. There's this long, like strange silvery flute of some kind, but it's like almost like 2 arms lengths long. It's like a huge, long flute. Very, very strange scene.
I'm gonna walk up. Ibanar, what the heck is going on? Oh, go. Hey, no, okay. Step aside. That's a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. And then point at the large, oversized flute and stuff.
Erminand, you meanwhile, you were looking at each of the doorways for each of the engravings upon there, and lo and behold, when you went to the west door, you found numerous engravings of animals, like strange creatures up along the sides that seem to be like frolicking and engaging in like odd dances, or in some cases chasing one another or tearing into each other. And then all of you, as you're examining this scene, hear another piercing cry, and you hear this distant, slow, like this rhythmic sound of like great heavy wings, and there is again this like almost like deep-throated yet screeching eagle-like cry as the most massive bird that you have ever seen lands, casting a long shadow on like one of the great like open arches up above you, the view of the tower above, and with huge like hawk-like eyes glances these golden orbs down at the antechamber below.
Are we fighting a Ziv?
That's not a no.
It's not a
Not
no.
yes either, though.
It looks, well, you can say that it's bird-like and massive and ringed with these gold and red sets of feathers. And it turns its head like regarding you with a predatory eye from way up there and lets out another ear-piercing cry. It's like a good 50 feet up there perched. Yeah, what do you do about it?
We should go inside, actually. We should do nothing about it except wish it a very good day, sir, is my opinion.
Where do you go?
I bid you good day. One of the doors you were just describing all these otherworldly creatures kind of frolicking and I'm going to say haberdashering, just because I can't think of the word I'm trying to think for. So they're making each other hats.
Great.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think we should go. We should go through that. We should go through that pathway, that doorway.
Could use a new hat.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
All right, that's the one to the west, and you go to press against it, and you feel this heavy stone door grind slowly against the floor that is like built up with all this rubble and debris there, and it starts moving, and then it stops like wedged there, and it feels like it's gonna take some strength to get it open, which I don't think is your strong suit, Irmanon, necessarily.
Don't judge me.
That's the force.
I flex this mental muscle. But also maybe someone who's stronger than me, maybe come give this a pushy push.
I'll give it a pushy push. And
yeah, my force is a whopping 0.
All right, do you want to combine your efforts here as you head over, and who's got so if Sartu's doing, you can go with, and do you have Ebenar helping you too?
yeah. I'm putting the kid to work.
Yeah. All right, so go ahead and roll me a test of force with advantage, so you can roll twice on there, trying to get that 13 or higher. Is our magic number here?
I got 2 17s.
Nailed it.
All right.
Dang.
Yeah, you shove that thing
Come over
open.
to help me. Bam.
Rubble be damned, pushing like stones and debris inside away on the other side, and the huge avian creature lets out a screech at the sudden noise and commotion down below, and launches itself and starts flying above this huge room, this antechamber, and kind of like half lumbering beats for like, it's incredible that a creature of its size can keep aloft as it kind of like starts soaring in the circle above you. And you hear a second cry, very similar in the distance, to which this one like almost in call and response from somewhere up in the sky. So yeah, what do y'all do?
I recommend we go the fuck inside.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
make myself as small as possible and go inside.
Yeah, unless it's some kind of new language that we haven't learned how to translate yet. Can we just let out a real quick caw and see if it like reacts?
Smart.
Is it?
Caca.
Yeah, just
Like just top of your line. Yeah. That gets another predatorial shriek from the creature.
I don't think that meant what you thought it meant.
It starts to dive down, and it is a rushing speed as you all hightail it through that door that you've just shoved open there, the huge moving stone.
Yep.
And maybe just keeping it like not quite slammed open enough for this thing as you get on the other side and it smashes down. You hear the scrabbling of massive talons against stone, like the screeching of that on the stone, and the call of the other beast. And it is it carries on like that for a moment, but it doesn't seem to be making any progress in pushing the thing open further. And you find yourselves on the other side, backs against it, in momentary safety, hearing many other sudden screeching bird calls, like dozens, if not hundreds of them, like the chittering of insects and a like cacophony of roars and of additional like higher pitched screeching from something that's like not a bird, but you're not really sure. This place is just lush with life in here, in the chamber that you're in now. There's probably more green than you've ever seen in your lives. Huge leaves and trees and bushes all over, and flowers in numerous colors, all along this long like winding pathway between bars, like great gilded bars of these massive cages, each containing like all this life, all these plants and cries of confused animals.
I'm just saying this would be a great place to hide a beast of Eden.
Yeah. In a nursery? Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. Does anyone know how to call a beast of Eden?
No, we saw what happened last time when we tried talking to the bird thing. So
yeah, it came running, so we try it again. Caca.
Top of your lungs, just calling out to
I'm going to use my slip into shadows ability here, just in case.
Yeah, finding a dark spot in the corner near some of the taller trees within the cages. There is a sudden additional screeching from nearby, and like in behind some of the cages, these bizarre little creatures are all like suddenly leaping from the trees and jumping around and grabbing on the bars, almost like with almost human-like little hands and like strangely nearly human faces. Some of them have long tails though, grasping on things, like overgrown like person rats or something. It's a really strange sight for this part of the world, agitated by the noise in here.
And you're describing monkeys. God, I hate monkeys.
Yeah, it sounds more like lemurs, which are more adorable.
Yeah. Who
by
hates
far.
lemurs?
Rat-faced, human-faced rat things with little graspy hands. You're describing monkeys. Ugh, monkeys.
I offer it a
I know
ration.
John hated monkeys.
Yeah, I don't. Monkeys creep me out.
I look at one of my followers, of which I realized about when you guys were bringing it up that I have two. I'm like, go give it a ration.
What kind? What do we?
I want a lemur. I want a little friend.
What sort of food are you offering it?
What kind of rations do we have? I have 3 days worth. Is it like a biscuit? Is it like dried fruit?
Yeah, could be that dried meat. Could be
They're Lunchables.
Yes.
Bronze Age Lunchables.
Well, the creature acceptly and immediately are like tearing at the strips of the you said biscuit or dried fruit and things, and fighting with each other, rolling around, but you hear distant roar from somewhere farther back in the chamber, and these creatures just freak out again. They dash back into the trees, taking the food that you've given them. Has anybody actually said anything at this point? No, you just made various animal noises, I guess. Oh no, you were talking to your to your acolytes to right.
Yeah.
Well,
Shala and Lumesh. I probably said those wrong.
yeah. What's their deal?
Nailed
What's their vibe?
Well, they're the Alkalide, 1 gold /week, and they're also the Alkalide, 1 gold /week. Their descendant will later adopt the surname Hamfund, and yeah. But that's not them yet.
Well, as they pull back from the bars, having give this thing in there, you hear this chattering, not of whatever the rat-like human, sort of vaguely human-faced creatures are, but something that sounds much more human from one of the other cages, and like just filled with greenery. On the other side, like something from in the trees, and then suddenly multiple voices talking in hushed tones and hiding, and then suddenly 3 figures burst out of that foliage and are wide-eyed, seeing you beyond the bars. They grab the bars from the inside and are just over top of one another, just babbling, calling out, seeming really agitated and trying to get your attention.
Anybody catch what they're saying? No.
I don't believe so.
I heard it.
No,
Yeah.
none of you speak their languages. It doesn't seem.
They don't seem too happy. So,
I mean, they're in cages.
yeah, I mean,
I find in life when someone is caged, not as happy.
should we let them out of said cage, or should we?
I don't see a reason why not yet. Anyone have a reason not to let them out of their cages?
I'm kind of a dick, but other than that, no.
I'll send Ivanar to open up the cages. Go open the cage. Let them out.
How?
This is part of exploring. This is part of learning. Go learn.
Okay. I have to. Goes over and starts like pulling on it, like trying to find at the bars, like where there's some of give on there, and the 3 figures inside. They hear another one of those roars from somewhere across the menagerie, and they suddenly stop stark still and are like crouching down behind the bars, like glancing to their left, like towards the north side of the chamber. It is a very deep-throated, disturbing sound, and Ivanar is feeling away at the bits of the bars. It seems like this is a door or something. I don't know, but it's stuck. It's got this, and he's like yanking on it, and it seems like it's got these heavy bronze chains like linked around it there. It's coming together in this bizarre cylindrical contraption with these like strange holes, like almost fluted like all along different parts of it, and they're almost like in these little wedge like rows up and down, which one of you perhaps, because of their background and interest, recognizes as one of these newfangled inventions of the artificers, the magicians of Nimrod's Tower, an incredible piece of technology called a lock.
I'll just I don't trust that at all.
Lock, huh? Rhymes with rock.
I've got a lock picking skill.
Oh, that's way better than my plan.
I mean, if it fails, we'll go rock. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Use all your resources.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of this like long, again, like fluted tube like thing with these different like movable wedges that you've got to now the proper device for this thing, the key would be about yay large. Usually carry it over your shoulder. It has all these long spindles out of it. So you kind of got to work with whatever tools you've got, fitting things in and trying to adjust these wedges to the right angle. Do you want to go ahead and roll me a finesse, which I believe you have a bonus in, trying to get a 13 or higher there?
Okay, let's try this. Ooh, 16.
You make real short work of that. Yeah, just like you make it look easy, clicking away at this thing, shoving implements, maybe your daggers and whatever other bits and pieces you
The
had.
grabber guy, I'm using him mostly just to yeah.
Shove his fingers into different parts of it, and yeah, you get those angles covered. And it clanks open, a heavy sound swinging off the cage, and just crying out like some of the like two of them have like tears streaming down their face as the haggard figures rush out of there. Just babbling away. They got like. The two men, their beards are like grown long at this point, their hair wild and matted, and they are, seems like profusely thanking you. Recognize just a few words in the midst of all of it, the blessing of some of the fallen gods. You catch the name of Sin in there, and of Inanna actually upon you, but they hear the other sounds of whatever it is that's producing those occasional roars north in the chamber, and they start booking it towards the east, towards where you just came from. And the
Should
heavy
we tell them
stone
about
door.
the birds? No.
Point that way, caca. Hopefully they understood.
Turning around the confused. Anshadib, kaka.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, no,
It's
they got
fine.
it.
Caca.
So you're doing like a throat slitting motion while.
I'm like, that thing.
Abazivi moon to cliche. Like they seem desperate but confused and have no idea what to do with your warning going there.
It's a whole mood right now.
Hey, I mean, I let them know. No, not my problem anymore.
Not my circus, not my
Lemurs?
monkeys, my human-faced rat monsters.
Do we notice any movement from where that large roar came from to the north, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, it's like this cage is like a huge enclosure that goes for something like 50 feet at least before it looks like the bars of the next begin. And you can hear something heavily breathing in the foliage behind the bars here, and almost like this deep-throated purr, like this low rumbling of not dissimilar to the few of you who might ever have heard a cat before, but you're starting to get the picture of some sort of giant feline of some kind behind here.
Okay,
Some
I think
great
with this
cat.
one we want to do a piss instead of a caca.
Mm.
Yeah. I think that checks out.
And let's see, as you are approaching it, because it's been about a turn's length here, you suddenly have to grab for your footing as everything begins tremoring around you. This unfamiliar feeling like the ground is shaking. Loose masonry, like little bits of pebbles begin to fall down, the plumes of dust from the ceiling all around you, and the cages which rise high towards the ceiling begin to screech and churn, the sound of metal kind of grinding and twisting against the shaking of the tower about you.
This seems fun.
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong with this?
Just comprehend it.
Mm-hmm. What do you do? Besides contemplate and comprehend.
Keep going up.
Yeah. Try
Up
to
towards.
Yeah.
Just looking around the menagerie, like moving the paces between the different cages while the world shakes around you.
That seems to be our MO.
yeah. Just
Yeah.
try to get it through there as safely and quickly as possible.
Okay. Well, you make your way down the pathways, and after a moment, fortunately, the shaking ceases, and there's a moment where everything is gone kind of silent after all the animals freaking out a moment earlier. And in the quiet, you can, you make your way around these paths and the other cages, and you have this moment of silence before all the roars and sounds start coming in again, the animals freaking out at the disturbance. But you see something strange behind some of the bars in the north. You don't find any other doors out of here. The pathways all sort of turn in and on themselves and all seem to lead looping back towards the entrance you came in these wide circles around the cages. But you do find something interesting behind some of the bars, this huge nest of leaves, like laid out, like these big spread wide green leaves in this central depression, with 4 huge mottled eggs lying in the center of it, behind the set of bars there.
We were talking about brunch earlier.
Mhm.
I just
Ooh, are we thinking omelets? Ooh,
yeah,
omelets.
at least one big omelet.
Yeah.
Big. So something laid these is going to come back here, and we'll have smelled us near its eggs. We should not.
So we're not going for omelets?
Normally I would say hungry, yes, but had rations. And
I would say with how much time we have remaining, let's make some omelets and see what happens.
I don't disagree.
Okay.
All right, so you can kind of like reach, and the more slender of you get your arms through the bars down towards the eggs at the center of this clutch here.
I think that sounds like something that that Ziskel the apprentice would want to do.
Seems absolutely thrilled by it, with nervous looks back and forth, reaching a shaking arm in, looking all about the enclosure, grabbing one, and then like almost fumbling and dropping the thing, but getting it out, and it is and yanking his arm back, and nothing moves inside the enclosure that you can see. But the egg that he's holding, like yay tall, kind of like strangely cylindrical. It almost has this like leathery feel to the outside of it. Doesn't have that smoothness of like a chicken, or hardness of a chicken egg shell.
I'm gonna elbow nudge Ivan. It's like, why can't you act like him? Come on, pull your weight.
You keep putting all this pressure on me, and
we haven't done anything. We've barely walked in here. Yeah, there was a big screeching bird, and there's a couple dead bodies, but come on.
I thought I was just gonna have to hold the shield, and you're supposed to do everything.
I don't want to.
How are you supposed to learn? Never mind. We'll talk later.
Yeah, that
Go grab
follower
an egg.
therapy bill has got to be insane.
We're not paying for therapy. It's not covered.
Well outside the benefits package.
Bronze Age benefits package for apprentices, not great, it turns out.
Yeah.
You get to keep your job until you die.
Until you don't. This seems fine, right? Like we're fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're
Nothing questionable at all.
We just have a reptile egg that's very big.
Well, Ibanar, like amidst the crustaceans, is not the one who notices. It looks like it's Ishala and Lumesh suddenly like pulling at your priestly robes and drawing attention to the fact that about 20 paces to your right, like curving around, that the door to this cage enclosure is not only wide open, it looks to be torn clean off.
Yeah. No worries there.
Hey, don't birds lay eggs?
Yeah, but ones with hard shells and not softer, leathery ones like this.
Look at Mister. I know everything about birds.
You know, I've seen a cloaca or two in my day.
Would not brag about that.
That's one.
Yeah. What do you do?
In high school.
You gotta grab the other 2 eggs or make a meal with this one, or what's the plan here?
Take all the eggs with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. That makes sense, I think.
Gonna
All right.
nudge Abenar. Go get an egg. Get in there. Go get an egg. Don't let them show you up. Go.
Okay.
This school, show him up.
Ladies, you're doing great, and I just appreciate you being here with me.
And
So
we have now
supportive.
shown you every kind of boss that exists from the Bronze Age till today.
We don't have to go inside the thing. Do we? Can we just grab it from here, like you did before, and Ziscal manages to reach in and get the second of the two out, and that is when you hear something from within the enclosure, behind like the masses of plant matter and vines and everything hanging here. This deep, throaty kind of like this hissing and reverberation of some kind, a clacking of a throat. It is a very strange sound, partly reminiscent for any of you that have ever traveled far and wide enough or seen a crocodile brought here, but there's something different about it. And you do begin to hear rustling and moving in the foliage inside this enclosure. Something is moving towards you. What do you do?
We could offer it beer.
Well, I'll get into a defensive position and kind of nudge Ivanar to do the same.
Along with the proffered beer, the carrot and the stick.
Yes.
In this situation, and what about Kubaba? Are you sticking to the shadows?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch and see how this plays out before I make a decision on my next move.
As this long, at first, like almost avian looking, like shaggy head pokes through the trees on this this kind of I don't know what the word is. I guess undulating is the motion, like up and down, this long neck emerging and looking around with almost a bird-like eyes and long, something like beaked malice, but you see rows of sharp serrated teeth along the beak and a serpentine body that emerges out from the trees on these slender, curved, taloned legs, like kind of swaying in this motion. And a long, thick, wicked tail out behind as it, smelling the air for a second, like turns its head. There's one of the eyes focused on you, sees the eggs and the throaty shriek that comes from this thing. as it charges forward and smashes into the cage bars before you, and lifting its arms, like the front limbs of the thing, they're these like leathery flaps that spread out into some kind of strange like wing as it grips against the bar, shrieking, and then starts scurrying along the edge towards the opening that you see hanging open over there. It's in the vicinity of about 11, 12 feet long snout, like beak and fangs to tail. What do you do?
Cry.
Let's see. What do I got? I got some stuff.
I have 3 hours worth of oil. Would we say that's this much, this much, this much?
I think the second one you had kind of there. Yeah, that thereabouts.
Okay.
I've got blinding powder.
Are we thinking burn it with fire?
I would point out that it is Hanukkah, and ergo, the oil should last for longer and have more.
I can't argue with that.
Just saying.
But now that Hanukkah's over, does that mean there's no oil left to go around?
Only if it results in a really funny death, because then that's a miracle, the different kind of miracle where everyone gold.
Can I consult my scrying bones in this matter of panic to see if it gives me any
I like that
insight
he
on how to
pauses
die?
to cry. That's
Yeah, sure. Do you want to roll them, like, let's say like 2d6s or something, and
Sure.
see what they tell you about the situation?
So roll 2d6.
Yeah. You got these little carved bones.
It's a 1 and a 4.
Very bad portents for the most part. No, those numbers.
Not great, friend.
Yeah.
All right, ladies, I looked at my my bones here, and I think it says that we're fucked. Don't tell the others. Just us three need to know this. And
We can hear you. We're all right here.
shit. Well, I have 3 hours worth of oil. Any others have a plan?
I've got blinding powder. You could blind it.
Let's blind it.
Okay.
Blind it, burn it with fire,
Heck yeah.
And
poke it till it's dead.
all right. So you're gonna take that. You're just gonna throw the oil jar at it and hope that it catches fire.
I'm thinking we
basically,
blind
or-
it first. Then while it's blinded, we hit it with the oil.
And then a torch.
And then, or a lamp, as I also have a lamp.
I have a lamp and oil as well too, so
But the torch is more disposable. Keep your lamp.
we can get another lamp.
We top the lamps off. Then we use the rest of the oil to cover the pterodactyl.
Okay, so with Kubaba's, so blinding first, right? Is what I heard. You've got this kind of, you got this little like fragile pot of the stuff that's like really, really nasty powder. If it gets in your eyes, like agitates the hell out of them, makes it almost impossible to see. Do you want to like throw the pot at the thing's face, or try to get grab a handful?
Hit it
when
right in
gets
the
up
nose
close?
if I can.
All right, go ahead and roll me a test of your finesse, and that's going to be against like however fast its defenses are. Yeah, and it's moving pretty fast, and it's serpentining a lot. At a rate of 16, actually. So
Okay.
if you can get that or higher.
Okay. No pressure.
You're doing great.
20!
Nice. As the pot shatters on the face of the thing, and it like lets out this like reverberating throat cry, and you see this like red, like vibrant red and green fringed flap beneath it, shrieking in pain as it just explodes from this pot into its eyes of this nasty powder, and it's shaking its head all over the place and still charging forward at all of you blindly on these like long limbs with that stretchy like leathery substance between them, shaking its head all around, unable to see. And now we have you tried smashing it with you poured the oil all around the floor in front here. Is that right? Where it's charging? Is that the case?
I mean, that would make sense. I was thinking we would spray it on it after it was blinded.
Oh, sure.
But I appreciate this better idea
of having lit the floor, poured it on the floor. Well, it's up to you. Yeah, whatever process you want to go.
I mean, if we get the floor oily first, it's just going to slip while blinded, and then we can burn it.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the better idea.
Okay, so you've done that, smashed. I think several of you have oil jars. Did you want to like smash one of them and then keep the lit jar to throw in to catch it all on fire?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that sounds like a great plan.
I want to remind everyone that what we're essentially doing is creating Stone Age Molotovs.
Yes.
But as this is a fantasy game, if anyone would like to shout, "Fuck it, I cast Fireball" while we do this.
Are you the one that has the "fuck it, I cast Fireball" spell?
I am the one who
So?
tends to have the "fuck it, I cast Fireball" mentality. So, yeah, fuck it, I cast Fireball.
Well, you are capable of performing magic with the Babel stones.
That's what I was thinking.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, that's why I was shocked that he was like, okay, yeah.
Okay. I have the way I understand it is I can combine the words of my Babel stones. I have Force, Fire, and Wind.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Which I think equals Fireball, if I'm not mistaken.
That's how it sounds to me.
Yeah, no, Matt checks out.
So fuck it. I cast Fireball.
Do it.
All right. So forming that sentence there, that declaration, the Force, Flame, Wind, between the way that the magic works, you have this aura of Malam about you, which is the power that is carried by heroes that imbues the stones of this place. It's like the quality of being God touched. If you want to do that on the oil, describe how it sounds. You're trying to like blow up a fireball here. So I'm pretty. That's the picture I have of what you're trying to do. Yep. That sounds pretty.
So my
clear.
goal is to I am infusing this bowl of oil, right?
Yep.
With fire, like divine elemental fire as I lob it. The force is when it hits, it's going to forcefully explode, expanding the fireball, and the wind part is allowing me to get it over there because I do not have very. I'm not a strong man,
Yeah.
So that's the spell. It is carrying it to its destination and then causing it to explode with great force.
So you're going to roll us 2 mana dice, which are each a d6 together, and higher is more power. But if you get doubles, the tablets shatter; they explode on you.
I did not get doubles. I got a 5 and a 6.
All right, for a total of 11 damage. So we got the oil slicked floor here. We got the blind shrieking creature rushing towards you. Are you waiting until it's right about to get onto the oil?
Yeah, I'm waiting till I can see the whites of its eyes.
They're pretty red and bloodshot right now, I think, from.
Then I'm going to wait until I can maximize damage
on account of the blinding powder. All right, so you do that, and it explodes upon the oil as you speak the words. You bring the power that's in the stones to life. You form this command of heaven to change reality here, and it explodes in a torrent of fire, catching the floor on fire, which the thing in its momentum even as it feels the heat, it can't stop itself plunging into and sliding on this fiery oil slick that bursts to life. And just this plume of flame coming up. You can smell the searing flesh of the thing. And in fact, let me find out what its health is looking like here. Crucial question. As it stumbles, shrieking, sliding in the oil, burning with fire, and this is a pretty big conflagration here. And there's also a lot of brush and underbrush and plant matter all around here, including the nesting materials and everything. Roll me a straight D6 to see how big this fire gets. Because on a 6, it's going to get bigger. On a 1, it's going to start dying out as it.
I'm so happy. Can you guess what I rolled?
No, never.
I rolled a 6, baby.
As the flames rush and lap out onto the dry underbrush around the nesting material that you just grabbed the eggs from, and the bases of the trees and some of the drier like vines hanging down, everything is starting to go up in flame and billowing smoke from all the green leaves above as the creature is writhing and shrieking. I'm assuming Ollie kind of want to get out of its sliding way there, where it's charging.
What I do instead of getting out of the way, I'm going to grab Ivanar by the waist as he's holding the shield in front of him and holding him as a shield with the spear, and I'm going to charge at the flailing body to stab and use him as a human shield, because I've not been very impressed with his work ethic, and it's going on his evaluation after said adventure.
Master, what are you doing? This kind of like you got to buy the waist with the shield there as he just screams and with both hands like tries to hold the shield out in front of him, and by default in front of you as well. In that case, go ahead and give me a test of force with that stab that you're doing here.
It's
a
12 on the die plus 2, so that's 14.
That is going to hit on this writhing thing and you're not two-handing.
I am not two-handing, unfortunately.
So just roll me a D8 for damage there.
Alrighty. That's a 6.
And you add your 2 force to it again for 8 damage. As you were stabbing into the gullet of the thing. Was that that right? Yeah.
Yeah, that big inflamed area underneath his chin.
Repeatedly piercing over and over as its strange cries die out, and it's just within a moment a flaming carcass, and the smell of roasting something not entirely unlike chicken begins to fill the air amidst the very smoky aroma coming from the now blazing forest fire in the menagerie in front of you that looks like it's starting to lap and spread to the nearby cages, and it's getting kind of hard to breathe in here amidst the billowing smoke.
I dash forward and let's see here. I dump out the wine from my wineskin as I run up and push the mouth of my wineskin to the creature's wound.
Okay. Getting some of that now. Now it is on fire, and it's in an
I didn't say it was a good plan, Caleb. I said I do it.
Yeah.
All right, so you shove your hands in. You're trying to get as much of the blood you can as the flames lap at you, and you take D6 damage from the flames.
Can I use Ivanar to put out the flames? Just like
you can try. It's a lot of flames.
Okay. Do you want me to roll damage, or do you?
You can roll. You can go ahead and roll it.
I took 1.
Okay, yeah, you just get a brief singe as you get your hands out of there. Not too bad at all with blood wine in place of what you had in your jar there before. And that fire is, wouldn't you know it, getting larger. There's like so much shrieking and cries of the animals in this place, the rattling of the other bars,
Who could have
And
seen this coming?
from the open bars, that chamber that you rescued the 3 haggard prisoners in, there is like this bugle-like sound as you see rushing out from in that underbrush these 3 enormous deer, like led by the tallest stag you have ever seen, rack rising like 12 feet above, as they go parading out and bugling like towards that stone door that you left just slightly partway open, and struggling and trying and failing to get their bulk throughout that side as they turn in a panic and start stampeding this way amidst all the shrieks of all the other creatures in the cages in here.
Can we free the lemurs, please?
Yes,
Hashtag free the lemurs.
I will free the lemurs.
Rushing over to
These
there.
lemurs, they're different.
You want to give me another quick lockpick attempt on that cage? See how that goes.
6.
Not good. You're
No.
just, struggling with it, and it turns out to be a somewhat difficult enterprise trying to get this lock undone, as the screeching, panicked creatures trying to flee the flames inside are like scratching and clawing and yanking at your face and at your hood and trying your hair and trying to and really do a number on you there. And the flames are coming in behind them. The 3 enormous deer and stag are stampeding your direction, all of you, down the main path. The cage is still locked. What do you do?
I'm still going to hold Ivanar in front of me, and I'm going to hold a defensive stance and try not to get stampeded.
And can we try to direct them at the gate to the lemurs
yeah,
to see
that's
if
a good idea.
the deer will bust through, freeing the lemurs?
Yeah, that's actually a better idea.
Okay, yeah, in their panic, so you're trying to like kind of get on either side and have weapons
Kinda corral
drawn.
'em. Yeah.
Drive them that way. I have no idea how well this is going to turn out in their panic. I am just going to roll a 2d6 on this one to see which way they go as they start freaking out, and whether they're going to come stampeding onto you or away from your weapons, because they are significantly larger than you, as it turns out. All right, so 2d6. 7 and up is good. 10 and up is much better. And we got a 12 here. Ooh. Fantastic success. As you drive, and I don't know if you're calling out things like goat herds trying to direct their path, they, led by the enormous white stag, smash into the lock. They don't not only like tear the chains, but mangling the bars and like creating this smashed opening wide enough that the lemurs and the monkeys start pouring out.
Not the monkeys. No.
Large number. Oh, well.
Get those back in there.
Or to kick them back into the cage.
Just the lemurs. All I want.
As they start hightailing it for the exit, the stag is like panicking, and its rack is stuck in the cage, like in the bars there. As the 2 does beside it are just in a confused panic, stamping and trying to look for a way out of here, which probably all of you are going to want to be doing, as the wall of flames is basically on all sides of you now.
Or
do you want to? Yeah.
There's just the one door we know of that led us into here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, fire or bird thing, and maybe the deer can distract the bird for us to get the heck out.
I think that's probably the right plan, the right play.
Yeah.
All right. I grab a lemur, I put it on my shoulder, and I go, "Ah!"
Let me see how it reacts amidst its panic here.
Oh gosh.
It goes into stunned confusion on its face, like wide, strange, like ringed eyes as you grab it and put it there, and it's just like confused, cowed, and stunned into silence, where it was shrieking a moment there, but it grips with all of its little might onto your shoulder as you go charging eastward towards the door you came through. And are you all like trying to get that stone door open far enough that the deer are going to be able to come stampeding out? Because they tried to come this way before, and you had only like cracked it open.
Yeah,
or you just
get the
slip it
door
out.
open just enough so that we can have the deer come through and hopefully not get ran over, but more than likely get ran over because, confusion.
Mhm. All right. So you all like rushing, combining your strength, shoving that door through the rubble the rest of the way open, out into the enormous antechamber, and two massive bird-like creatures interrupt the very intimate activity they seem to be engaged in with like a sudden shriek and an opening of wings as you come pouring out, and along with all the billowing smoke into this antechamber. And the shrieking horde of primates that come pouring into this chamber, followed by you and the rushing, stampeding deer, two very perplexed giant birds, whatever they may be, give each other a glance before alighting with a hungry cry and making their way towards the barbecue and smorgasbord that is now moving in their direction. Whereas I assume all of you are hightailing it for the tower exits that you came through.
Yep.
All right. Back down past the noise, feeling a chill in your bones as you pass under the archway, the memory of what it did to you in entering. And you catch a glimpse in this carnage in there, and the eagles going for the animals, and some of them escaping down with you and over the stairs, of the other doors opening on the eastern side of that amphitheater chamber. And four very strange, giant, bearded, and armored figures emerging like spears aloft and great shields held before them, a look of alertness and awareness in their eyes, and massive scorpion-like bodies scrabbling beneath them as they emerge. But that's all business for another day, as you are getting the hell out of here and down the stairs, out of the tower, leaving the smells and flames behind, back into the city of 1,000 tongues, which, even though we only made it 2 chambers deep into the tower, seems a good place to wrap things up here in bringing back what you found to the alchemist. Right, you got some things with you besides 3 very strange eggs, right? And you grabbed some blood from the dying serpentine creature, and it would seem like you're only missing one thing. This is notable progress, and on your very first entry, and I must say I am rather pleased that you all appear to be very much intact and not much the stranger for your journey. Yes, I think we will do great things together, very great things indeed, and I think you will find the tower will have changed very much upon your next entry, for that is the way of it, in its curse to be ever-changing.
Hooray!
Any final business that you're all attending to in your postscript here?
Oh, just getting a little outfit for my new little guy.
Oh, your traumatized lemur.
Yeah. I think a vest would be appropriate, but also maybe a tutu.
Or a fez.
Yeah, definitely a fez.
I feel good about that.
Yeah.
Same.
That's what everybody spends their hard-won gold and the next couple of days just decking out this lemur's wardrobe.
Well, yeah, he's our mascot now.
I am leaving the party for primate-related reasons. Friends, this has been Let Us Build a Tower, which not only is it on Kickstarter for another week if you're watching this on the day, friends, it just passed the $14,000 stretch goal.
Nice.
Very nice.
knocking my current record out by several $1,000s. Congratulations, Caleb.
Wow.
Obviously, this is a blast. We had a lot of fun. It's near and dear to my heart as kind of biblical related storytelling is obviously something I am very happy for. But if you are watching this on the VOD, the link to the Kickstarter is going to be in the show notes. And on that note, and kind of just as important, is noting that if you watch this and is outside of that time when it's live on Kickstarter, I bet that link will still, like on the Kickstarter page, the little like link where you would normally back will probably be a link to where you can pre-order or go to the backer kit, or once it's available, you can just buy it. So if you see it outside this week, do not fret. Do not think you cannot still support the game, because you totally can. So we do have a couple of announcements. Kevin Welch, you have edited and put together a new episode of the acclaimed podcast, A Flail to the Face. This episode starring Rugos Khan, a good friend of mine, incredible artist, great game designer, amazing guy. So check that out. Earlier episodes include cameos from yours truly, as well as the one and only Johan Noor, one half of the creative force behind Morkborg. So definitely check that out. In a couple of days, this coming Sunday, Low Blasphemy by Judith Sonnet drops. It is extreme horror / splatterpunk involving blasphemy, and it's a pretty good time if you like good writing. Judith Sonnet is kind of a dynamo. In January, we'll be dropping Porcelain by Nate Southard. Porcelain is hands down one of the best books I've ever read. When I heard that it was out of print, I went up to Nate and I said, here's a contract. Let me bring this book back into print. It's incredible. New cover, new edit. It's going to be a great edition. So please check that out. Also in January 19th to be exact, my next book, The Unclean Verses, is going to be dropping. That's from D&T Publishing. It has all the trigger warnings, y'all. It's going to be a lot. So if you have any kind of reservations about extreme horror or splatterpunk, maybe skip this one. I have other books you can read that are not splatterpunk. So that's that news. I also wanted to say, if you enjoyed this kind of like Bronze Age mysticism, kind of weird fancy sci-fi thing, please check out Giant Robots of Babel by Maxwell Bauman. We published that a few years ago. Maxwell Bauman's an incredible author. If you like Big O and Neon Genesis Evangelion, I don't know. Check out Giant Robots of Babel. Back this on Kickstarter. I think Beyond the Pale has already passed its Kickstarting thing, but I'll be writing a zine for that with Jewish mysticism. So lots of cool, like biblical, historical stuff going on right now.
5 hours to go on Beyond the Pale.
5 hours to go.
All right, now is the time.
Now's the time to back it right now. And if you back at a certain level, you can get a monster hunting kit from Jack Zients, along with the zine by me about Jewish monster hunting. So that's two things you need to back. Several books you need to buy. A couple of podcasts you need to listen to. Caleb, is there anything else you would like to plug or let us know about before we call it a night?
People can follow everything going on with my stuff. I mean, right now really absorbing the Kickstarter, but I'm still on the Bird site at Caleb Wimble. If they want to keep track of things in the future, you will probably find me in the very near future reading The Giant Robots of Babel, because I'm reading this description right now. And this sounds incredibly
It's
up my
very
alley.
good. Maxwell Bauman kicks ass.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to Unclean Verses. Porcelain. It sounds. Yeah, I just filled out my reading list in this 2 hours here, so I appreciate that.
Good.
Yeah, looking forward to it. And yeah, no, I mean, folks can find everything they want to know about the Kickstarter on there. One of the big things about it is like today's session, the Tower Generator app, which is what I use to run this, totally different place every time you enter it, generates the whole dungeon for you. So that's what I was going on, which don't worry, if you miss the Kickstarter, you won't be in the early beta for it, but you will have a chance to get it like everybody else. The app will be ultimately, when it releases, free of charge. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for having me on here and for playing. I had a good time, and I hope you did too.
Very cool. And that app, man, one of the things I've loved about Morkborg OSE is the random generation that those systems use that make running games so much easier. Of course, it helps when you have a dynamite GM like Caleb or our normal Ian Servas. They bring those to life. So awesome job, everyone. Thank you. Real quick, I want to say, if you don't follow us on the Bird app, I get it, but one podcast on the twits. Charles Bernard just busts his ass to keep that like interesting and full of cool content. So if you are on the Bird app, please follow us there, OneMoncast. You can also follow us at onemoncast.com. And finally, let's thank Bog Wizard, right, for our intro and outro music, Barbaria, off the album Purple Miasmic Smoke. We Madness Heart Games has a new Bog Wizard EP coming out, which, hot damn. All these things. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this consensual journey we call Wandering Monster. I have been John, the biggest dog, Baltusberger.
I've been Bridget Brave.
I've been Kevin Welch.
I've been Mr. Paschke.
I have been and continue to be Caleb Wimble.
That's all in the past now, but we will be back next week. If you cannot wait until then, don't worry. Bridget knows a shortcut.